one of the most dangerous things that I think crept into Christianity is the Christian celebrity culture. And I understand this from an experiential point of view, because when I was younger, I was born again in 2003, and then I was born again in a very prosperity gospel, celebrity-driven culture church. And it was the kind of culture wherein if you knew the celebrity pastor, wow. If you have a selfie, whoa. You know, if you're mentored by them, invited over for lunch or dinner, or you got into their house, you were golden, you know, and people were like, how close are you? I can't believe that you guys have a selfie together. You know, it's like that. And it was really weird. There's like this pastor worship. And later on, as I embraced Calvinism, and I began to reject the prosperity gospel, it was kind of messed up because not everything was clear in my mind. So when I became a Calvinist, of course, like most people, because of John Piper, he's the gateway drug to, they call him the gateway drug to Calvinism. So I got introduced to John Piper, and I got to know about Mark Driscoll and all of that. When Mars Hill began its online life, I was there from the very beginning. They were 6 weeks old in the internet, and I was already there following all their podcasts, listening to them. So 9 Marks, Mars Hill, Village Church, Desiring God, the Gospel Coalition, that was my world. That was my Christian world during that time. And imagine this. I was a Calvinist already. I was already against the prosperity gospel, and yet I was still, quote-unquote, worshiping these celebrity pastors, hoping and praying that God would give a bigger platform to Mark Driscoll and to John Piper and to John MacArthur so that the gospel would spread. I was like, you know, God, if we could just give these guys an even bigger platform, the gospel would spread more, as if they were the heralds of the gospel. And, you know, so yeah, I was a Calvinist, but it's so ironic that I didn't recognize the call of God to preach in every Christian. I relegated that call to these celebrity pastors. And now I realize just how dangerous fame can be. And so then I heard about all these moral failures, celebrity pastor after celebrity pastor, from Mark Driscoll and Bill Hybels and you know, obviously just recently Ravi Zacharias and etc. So these celebrity pastors falling one by one confirmed in my heart more and more that fame is such a deadly thing. You can go from fame to shame so quickly. And so when we planted New Covenant Church, Cebu, by the grace of God, I can honestly say I did not want fame. Not for our church and not for myself. Not for anyone within our circles, because I recognized how scary that actually is. And really, it's by the grace of God. I was traumatized actually by the celebrity culture of my first church, and that trauma made me very, very vigilant and very wary of the celebrity culture and the fame culture. And I understand the irony of things, because I'm talking about celebrity culture and I'm uploading everything on YouTube. We have to recognize that we live in a world dominated by social media today. We live in a world where you gotta admit, just some real talk, some people have a unique gifting or talent, or others have intentionally developed the skill to become more articulate, more eloquent, to communicate gospel and Bible truths in a way that's very accurate. And those are all good things. But I think we also need to be very, very painfully self-aware that we're doing these things because we want the gospel to spread, and we don't want to build our own name, our own reputation, our own kingdom. And I know this because I used to be a blogger. I used to blog a lot before. If you're very opinionated like me, obviously I'm very opinionated, and I'm very, very talkative as well. There's this temptation. And as much as I can honestly say that I don't want fame, I can also say I'm not immune to the temptation of pride. I'm still human. And there are times when I still hear a little demonic whisper here and there. Oh, you know, you've got a new subscriber on YouTube. Ooh, you've got a new like. You've got a new comment. Ooh, you know, those are Those are temptations that we have to kill, especially if you're a blogger or vlogger or writer or a content creator for anything Christian. Be careful. I have to continuously ask myself, and this is not just YouTube, this isn't just Facebook, because we can do this anywhere. I want to bring the celebrity culture issue down to our level, to the average Juan, to the average Joe, who has a social media account, who has a Facebook, a Twitter, a Reddit, a Blogsphere, or whatever. It's about following, and we have to recognize, if you want the gospel to spread into the world, there are certain things that we got to do. We got to do some marketing, we got to brand it correctly, we got to brand it nicely and neatly, all of it for the excellence, to give God glory, because we don't want clutter, we don't want everything to just look half-baked, because that's not going to give honor to the Lord, obviously. But that's where the heart issue comes in. I was told by some of my friends, I like your rants, but you got to fix your thumbnail. You can't allow YouTube to just make the thumbnail for you randomly. You got to make it clean. Don't you want to be excellent for the Lord? I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. So there's one side is wanting to be excellent for God, but there's the other side where there's pride. There's a danger of pride that, you've got more likes, more followers, more comments, more people liking this and that. And we have to be careful. Not just in your YouTube, not just in your Facebook, but even in your blogs, because I know I write a lot as well, and I'm a blogger. I used to be a blogger, now I'm more of a vlogger with these rants. I don't have the time. But you make sure the words you choose are really good. You put the verse in parentheses, you put the exegesis there. You want to be as accurate as you can, but you got to ask yourself, why are you doing that? To teach people and to make people truly understand the Bible? Or is there a part of you that says, I want people to know me as an accurate theologian. I want people to rely on me. I want people to feel that they can come to me for anything at all, and I'm an expert and a master of all topics. That's just really scary, and so we got to be very careful about that. The other thing is, like, for example, just uploading YouTube sermons, for example, or connecting your church to, there's so many networks out there, right? Facebook has Facebook groups, I don't know, Calvinist churches in the Philippines, or if Reformed network of churches in the Philippines. If not Reformed, if you want like a dispensational network, or New Covenant Theology network, or whatever network, or if you connect your church to, let's say, I don't know, Desiring God network of churches, 9 Marks network of churches, whatever, or whichever. Adding yourself to this directory of churches. I gotta be honest. Our church, we plugged into those things, but I don't really care. I don't care if our church is connected to those or not, because I know that we are called to serve whoever God brings into our doorstep, and we'll serve them. But I don't know. Is there really a need to be connected to these guys, or in these giant networks, to preach the gospel? Is that something? Is preaching the gospel really our intention, or is it more to add padding to the resume of the church? Like, our church is so good because we're connected to 5 different directories and 5 different networks and 7 different celebrity preachers and pastors, and look, our pastors have selfies with those pastors from abroad, and we gotta be careful. We gotta be really careful. And I know this because I've been there. I know what it's like. And I recognize that, I'm such a fanboy. Like, if I see John MacArthur, I'd probably want a selfie, or Justin Peters, I'd probably want a selfie. If I see, someone like D.A. Carson, like, oh, selfie, please, Steve Lawson, but really, that's part of the celebrity culture worship, pastor worship that we're trying to avoid. And I had to repent of that in my heart, because I'm supposed to worship God and God alone. And as much as I admire these people, I should not cave into the culture that's very dangerous, that can cause so much scandal and so much fame to shame, and can cause so much hurt. And we got to examine ourselves, we got to examine our hearts and see the true motive, if we really want to give God the glory, or we want the glory for ourselves and to build our own names. God bless you guys.